India runs on hypocrisy, not paradoxes, as I might be against what Shashi Tharoor thinks, but we have to look at what is happening in India. It is quite concerning. So the tragedy that India is following, it is not unusual to think that the communal, regional, and language divides are still prevailing, where it is increasingly violent to live for women, for children, be it the case with pharmaceuticals, of the medicine that is adulterated in a sense, it is not good. And a stronghold on military by our government and police forces, turning India into a police state and technological surveillance state. The reason for thinking that might be that the growing safety issues and political hold on the common man identity, where the average person cannot think beyond Modi. Because the media says that we are Vishwaguru, but the treatment of us Indians abroad in the places, any prevalent place, be it Thailand even, not even Europe, is poor. Where we are supposedly thieves, we are seen as thieves, we are seen as vulgar. And this seemingly good ties with even Russia, where our students who are going to study in Russia, they are sent to the front lines on some allegations of charges which are not found on facts, not based on facts. And this is not usual because earlier times such instances were there, but not with that extremity. This is not usual violence. Rather, it is a machine that wants to take hold of your psyche, not just for the politicization of the spirit that is backed by state controlled perception, aka media, where they're building this perception that we are the Vishwaguru. But we are not. We are a joke. We are a joke at the world stage. E- Every country, most of the country in developed countries or even South Asian countries are surpassing us in every sector, and we can claim us to be fourth largest economy, but on the real world, ground on real ground, there is nothing. It is zero. There is no improvement in lives. Rather, I would say that it has been much more difficult for people to live and secure their identity and dignity. So the issue is that the holding of your spirit in a nationalistic sense, when every other thing has been stripped away from you, is the beginning of a propagandic machine. And the cause of concern is that the pride that one feels while defending their identity, which is not tied to the nation but the idea of a party, is where a particular person is just not defending the notion of India. It is no identifying itself or himself with a particular kind of India. And one can reason that the cause of all the issues and a strong ideology that is rooted in that defense gives one reason to all the issues in society. And that issue is eradication of minorities. And hence, religion becomes a tool to defend actions, not justifications, because that requires legality, and legal justifications require constitutional morality. But when the structure of the nation is destabilized in the hopes of banking the politicians, the gap between the lower class and the middle class widens, and it widens faster between the middle class and the elite. And in such situations, the reliance on power becomes more in order to escape a corrupt system. So if we buy influence in it, and such trade leads to more corruption. So when a political hold is off on the bureaucracy, we cannot trust the individuals in the position of power, because the rationale of corruption starts where the intent is not seen as helplessness of the common man, but is measured in the terms of development. As you might have heard of very famous influencer talk about that corruption also contributes to GDP, and there they are giving a functionalist approach to corruption. They are whitewashing corruption, but there is no whitewashing of corruption, because corruption is about intent. It is about the character of the nation, and when that is corrupt, then the next stage of the influential people will be to justify that corruption, to justify that intent. That no, you are not seeing the bigger picture of the corruption in their terms. And the mixture will put pressure on the psyche of the individual, where the constant exposure to the state influenced media will lead to a stained own psychology, where state is no longer directing you, you are defending it, because that's your identity, which is rooted in state ideology. And you will feel that if I rely on this particular metric more, then the problems will solve, And the issue is that this is like a toxic gas. It has spread everywhere. Every corner of the room is filled with this toxic gas. And this will be seen directly in the new orange economy, because when people will rely on identifying issues, they will go where? YouTube, social media. And when social media is state owned, you will not have a journalistic standard where people will be able to question, think, critique. Because critique in a society which is so fearful, which is so, which is so, हिंदी में कहते हैं ग्रस्त, which is so tired, which is so tired of accepting their own reality, and nothing has changed so far in their lives. Then the new orange economy will put content creators in the front, which will tell them and soothe them that their discomfort is the new normal. And where the institutes will likely have a syllabus that will be curated of truth. Likely, I cannot claim what will be there, but by the directions of it, the content creators will be told in a much more nationalistic, so-called nationalistic sense, where the curation of the content will be in the hands of the state. And this will favor not critical thought, because being a critique is always dangerous in this environment. This can be seen in the treatment of the comedians, journalists, and anyone who goes against the flow. Because when the expression is taken hold of, then the thought is taken hold of. And when a country lacks critical thought, the political leaders will fill that gap with their own thoughts, and they will be called as thought leaders. And to claim it back, we must know that power doesn't allow influence when courage of the masses is strong to rightfully exercise their rights for their control of their own lives. As without that, development is a fairy tale. Because on ground, we still buy influence. We still buy the seat. We still buy our right to say. And in any system where you are buying the right to say with a higher price, there's a price on your life as well. And that will be the new normal. I hope this helps.